Transnet and labour unions expected to reconvene wage talks today with the guidance of the CCMA. Hundreds of workers, and these are Transnet workers across the country, downing tools last week, demanding a 13.5% wage increase. However, the employer saying they can only afford 4% wage increases for workers depending on the grading of their work. Let's speak now to our reporter, Athi Mtongana, who is live for us on the ground. Athi, good morning to you. Those talks, I suppose we can safely assume that they are underway, but what's the situation on the ground?
Well, Oli, the situation on the ground really is that workers have once again gathered outside the premises of Transnet, not just here at the Cape Town Harbour, but at various other Transnet premises across the country, and indeed here in Cape Town as well. There's also a group in Vowed and in Mtongana that's also demonstrating outside the premises of Transnet. Also, I need to remind you that there is that revised offer by Transnet, which is up to 5%. That too has also been rejected by the workers here who are still picketing outside the premises. I'm joined by COSATU. They are here today, and I'm interested to find out, Mr. Mervyn Brain, thank you so much for your time. What brings COSATU here today? We've been seeing Satau and Untu throughout the past couple of days. What is the provincial COSATU saying about this ongoing strike?
Yeah, COSATU is here today to support the working class. Today we see a united working class where Untu as well as Athi, which are our affiliate union, are here in the numbers to express their disappointment and anger against management for their failure to give workers a decent increase. That's why we are here today. COSATU support them 150%, and we will put the necessary pressure on them at the national level as well as provincial level to force them to give workers what they want.
Now, what we've also been hearing in terms of the report is that revised 5% offer, and workers here were telling me that they still rejected, be it 3%, 4% or even 5%. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think even the revised offer is an insult to the working class. You can't give it a 5% or 4% or 3% during the tough times. Inflation is above 7%. And what makes that call for employers to do that? Because of the spinner that they want to give our workers. And we support the workers for rejecting this current offer.
Experts and economists are saying this is economic sabotage, bearing in mind the cost of workers not being at the port.
And I think that's where the economists is losing the plot. If they understand the labour law, this is the right of workers enshrined in the Constitution. The workers have the right to strike for what they want. It's not sabotage, it's what workers want. I think I'd call it sabotage when employers or the management of Transnet is getting bonuses of close to 8 million rand. That's sabotage, not the 13.5% the workers are asking.
Now, before I let you go, I want to find out what is happening in Johannesburg, where the talks are convening. What is the mood of the meeting? What are you getting in terms of the talks themselves? Are they going to agree, Transnet that is, to at least provide something on the table that is going to be satisfactory for the people here?
At that stage, we don't have any updates from the negotiations in Joburg. But in the working class, the two unions are steadfast and receiving, they want a decent wage increase. I don't think this worker will even agree to an increase below inflation. That we will never agree to. That would be an insult. It will like suicide to do that.
All right, thank you so much, COSATU. Let's bring in Fedusa. Fedusa is also here. What do you have to say for what has been transpiring in the past couple of days?
It's an absolute travesty at this stage, an unfortunate situation that we continuously have to use the law to our disposal in terms of the Labour Relations Act. When we find that the employers are not bargaining in good faith, they've been stifling the process since the onset, hence the reason why now we have had to come to this process where workers have downed tools, unfortunately.
I want to ask you a last question, but pardon me, I need your name and your surname and your designation at Fedusa, and then can you respond to that issue about having to go back to the fact that you have been talking to Transnet, or at least the unions have been talking to Transnet, and they told me, Untu that is, that they've been talking to Transnet since April this year.
Yes, let's start with the beginning. I am Rifta Ajam, the General Secretary of FEDUSA. I stand here on behalf of the collective might of the membership of FEDUSA to come out in our full support for UNTU. These negotiations, unfortunately, as you rightfully allude to, have already started way back in April. We cannot comprehend for the like of it why the delay, why the drag, why there has been this constant battle to try and get the economy kick-started and giving workers their dues. It is not an unknown fact.
So they've been unwilling since April. Do you think anything is going to change now?
I cannot say that they've been unwilling, but the deliberate delay can only allow you to interpret the situation in terms of where are we going to, where are we heading for. And when you take a look at some of the economic drivers that not only comes from the National Development Plan, but equally so the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, the two key policy drivers identifies clearly that railroads and ports are supposed to be the enablers to get this economy moving. Why is there no political will by the minister, by the president itself, to be able to kickstart this particular process in regards to UNTU, in regards to the issues that they have been identifying?
It doesn't seem like, sorry to interrupt you there, but it doesn't seem like the Minister of Labour, Thulas Nxesi, who was there a couple of days ago, it doesn't seem like he brought a solution. He says he was there to listen. So do you still believe that there's no political will? We know that there's also letters written to the President and the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises.
Let me contextualize this. The Minister of Labour is the custodial authority when it comes to labour relations. The Minister of Public Enterprises has the direct jurisdiction in terms of public enterprises. We cannot say that there's no political will, but you cannot come to a particular negotiation process with the intent of only listening without bringing solutions. The economy can no longer afford a 6 billion or 7 billion loss on a daily basis when Rome is burning. They have the solutions. Unfortunately, workers continue to be on a back foot. We have just come out of a COVID scenario now. Why do they not realize the urgency in this process? Who is holding up the process? Certainly not us. Workers are ready. Workers are able. They've had enough insecurity in terms of their income. Now is the time to drive this economy. We are going into the festive season when we need those tourist dollars. Certainly, I beg the question once again, who is holding up the process?
All right, thank you so much for your time, FEDUSA, speaking on behalf of workers here who are not willing to accept that revised offer of 5%. And of course, we've heard also from the Western Cape government and the city of Cape Town about the work that needs to be done at the harbour and the contingency plan that they've had to adopt because the workers have essentially down tools and they're not there to actually man and continue working around Transnet, particularly at the port. So it remains to be seen what the talks are like in Johannesburg, but we, of course, will sit here and wait for an update. Oli?
Athi Mtongana, thank you very much for that update.